Arizona Wildcats beat the Pacific Tigers tonight. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 79 to the Pacific Tigers 61. What I saw tonight was it started out kind of slow for the Arizona Wildcats. It was kind of a tight game right in the beginning for a little while. I mean, the Arizona Wildcats pretty much doubled them up, doubled the Tigers up most of the beginning of the first half. But then it kind of started to get away from the Tigers, and then that's whenever the Arizona Wildcats were starting to build their lead to like 20, 25 points, somewhere around there. And then right in the end, then the Arizona Wildcats. And I think Coach Sean Miller for the U of A Wildcats, I think he kind of threw in some of those the bench players. Although I did see Kadeem Allen in there as a point guard right there at the end, and he's not a bench player. I think he started the game, I think, as a point guard. He's playing. He's playing more of a point guard position right now instead of Jackson-Cartwright. And Jackson-Cartwright is the major point guard, but maybe the reason why Sean Miller wants to have Kadeem Allen in there is because he wants to get an experience as to be a point guard. And another thing that he wants to do is he probably wants to let the other guys start to feel comfortable with him. Although I saw Kadeem Allen pass a couple assists or get a couple assists tonight over to Anderson, so that was nice to see. As far as Jackson-Cartwright wasn't feeling somewhat comfortable like that. I don't think the rest of the players feel somewhat comfortable with Jackson-Cartwright just yet. I think they will as time goes on, because he's like a rock. He's steady. He's seen a lot of games. He's played in a lot of games, so he has that veteran experience. So, I think with time, I think that the other players will get to feel a little bit more comfortable with Jackson-Cartwright, but right at this moment, I don't think they feel as comfortable with him as they should, and that's why Allen had 5 assists, I think, and Jackson-Cartwright had 2 assists. I think probably one of the assists that he probably passed it off to York. York down I think a couple three three-pointers, somewhere around there. Good amount of three-pointers. Ristic tried a three-pointer, didn't work out for him. Trier for the Arizona Wildcats, he's very confident in himself. He's very confident in his shooting ability, and because he had 1 for 6 tonight from three-point land, so he's not afraid. He's not afraid to put up that ball, put up that three-pointer. But I think that as time goes on, I think that shot will fall. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's the environment, being in the crowd, being with all the fans and stuff like that. Maybe that is what's getting into Trier's shooting ability. I don't know what it is. Or maybe the other players, the U of A players, are not comfortable with Trier just yet, and it's understandable. I mean, they're not comfortable with each other just yet, because this is only the second game. Pacific Tigers was only the second game. The Pacific Tigers had 2 guys, Wallace and another guy. But anyway, they two major guys that I think Wallace knocked down. I think 4 for 7 or 5 for 7 or 5 for 8 or I don't know from 3-point land. So he was money. And there was another Tiger that I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he also did very well. And I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from the Tigers tonight because they were going to have 3 of their starters are on suspension right now because of I don't know, they did something, some academic probation or something like that probably. I think that's what it was. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, so I didn't expect the Pacific Tigers to have much of a push back too much against the Arizona Wildcats, but they did a pretty good job. Although the Arizona Wildcats, I think, out-rebounded the Tigers, I think, by twice as much rebounds as the Tigers did. I think the Tigers got probably 20-something rebounds, and the Arizona Wildcats had 40-something rebounds. So, that was one of the big things. And I also wanted to say that the Arizona Wildcats, I think what's going on this year is they have a lot of post players, a lot of big guys. One, of course, is Anderson. And Anderson had I think it was 18 points tonight, 12 rebounds, which is fantastic because Tarczewski, even though he's a big body and he's starting to he make his impression down below. He's never been really a great rebounder, and so it's really nice to get Anderson in there. That's a really good rebounder. And I was surprised because Ristic had 10 I think, 10 or 11 rebounds. Yeah, 11 rebounds tonight. I think he had like 8 or 9 defensive rebounds, which is, of course, that's where most of your rebounds are going to come from. But I think Anderson had quite a few offensive rebounds. And another thing is I wanted to say that the reason why Kadeem Allen, maybe the rest of the team feels a little bit more confident at him is because he's 6'3". And I think that Jackson-Cartwright is like 5'8" or something like that. So, there's a little bit more, he's a little bit more visible, I think. Kadeem Allen is a little bit more visible. But the thing about it is he wants to do not so much the point guard position. He seems to be a little bit more involved in the playing the 2 position or dribble penetrate. And I think that's what Nick Wise used to do was dribble. He did a lot of dribble penetration. And I'm used to DJ McKale with doing a whole bunch of assists. But, that's what you get. You're going to get different people to come in. Like I said, Allen had 5 assists tonight, so he did pretty good. And like I said, the rest of the team starting to feel comfortable with him. And so when they got the ball passed off to them, then they threw up their shot, and they felt comfortable enough to knock down their shot. So anyway, the Arizona Wildcats had a nice second game. The Arizona Wildcats beat the Pacific Tigers. Final score: Arizona Wildcats 79 to the Pacific Tigers